Have you ever heard someone say, "No, I'm not going to forgive them. They don't deserve it"? Or maybe that's you. Maybe you're the one who said that. I know I definitely have felt that way before. And today we're going to be talking about how forgiveness can actually set you free. All right, so I'm going to be real honest here. It's been a few weeks since I've recorded, and I know it's not going to show once I start posting them since I'm wanting to record a few episodes before I actually post, but it's actually been a few weeks since I posted. And the reason is because I've just been making excuses. I honestly feel like maybe a little hypocritical talking about the subject because I want to share this breakthrough that I had, but then also I think the week that I was going to record the episode, I found some new information and then I had to start the process all over again. So it's something that I've been dealing with and asking God to help me. So, all right, so I said we're going to talk about forgiveness, so let's get into it. So we talked about how, I love social media, I stopped doing a lot of things, but the only thing I didn't stop doing was the Bible study. And there were many times where I thought about just, I don't want to use the word quitting, but yeah, basically, or at least putting it on hold because I felt like I was showing up unprepared. Before I had my baby, I, would actually prepare the week before, or at least a day ahead of time. And this time I was just showing up and I'm like, okay, I'm learning with y'all today and I'm asking God to teach today and lead today because I don't feel like, I just wouldn't show up prepared. And there were many days where I felt bad, I felt guilty, and I thought about just pausing it at least for a while. So maybe I just need to not do it if I'm not going to show up the way I want to, And I decided to just keep going. And I'm really glad I did. I'm glad that the people that are a part of it are also very understanding and encouraging. And a lot of the times, my prayer is always that the Holy Spirit be the one leading and teaching and speaking through us, and that it never be us leaning on our own understanding. And, the conversation, someone would, say something and then just the conversation would always take off. Usually, we would watch a video and then talk about it, and we would always end up answering all the questions without even looking at the study guide. So I know that God was present in all those Bible studies when I just showed up imperfectly, which should be obvious, right? But in the moments, when you're showing up a certain way, you're feeling less than adequate or whatever. So you think, maybe I should step back. But I'm really glad I didn't. God actually uses all of them, of course, but specifically one, and this one was by Lysa TerKeurst. I may be saying her name wrong, but it's called Forgiving What You Can't Forget. And when we started, I remember somebody made a comment that God was telling her that this Bible study was specifically for one person, for someone. And I didn't think much about it. I was like, I don't have anything against anyone. And, we started the Bible study. Once I started watching the videos, going over, reading, what she had written. And I don't know why I thought, can I bless this person? Like, can I pray to God and be like, God, bless that person? Like, can I genuinely say that? And there was one person, and there's, I've had follow-ups with several people, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like, God bless them, like, what do I care? I know that sounds bad, but, nothing against them. And, except for one person from my childhood. And I hadn't realized that I was still holding on to that. And, when I thought, can I bless this person? I was like, God, they don't deserve it. Which I'm, who knows, maybe somebody feels the same way about me, but, yeah, we're all God's creation. We've all sinned, we've all fallen short, and we've all hurt someone in some way or another, and, but yeah, so I realized I was still holding on to that, and I hadn't realized it, so I wrestled with it. I don't remember which session it was. They're usually like a 6-session study guide, so 6 weeks. So at the beginning, I realized that I was holding that against that person, and then I'm like, okay, and I was honest with them. I was like, I can't say that I forgive him. I'm like, I don't feel that way, but help me pray. And one of the things that really helped me was that she mentioned something along the lines of, whatever I can't do has been done by the blood of Jesus, something along those lines. So basically, we're like, I can only get to here, Jesus, you do the rest. kind of thing. And then I was like, "Ugh, okay, I feel such a relief because I was like, you don't call us to do things by our own strength. You call us to rely on you and to depend on you. And that's exactly what the situation that I'm in. I'm like, I don't feel like I can forgive, honestly, genuinely. But you know that, and you told me that what I can't do, you can do. So that was my prayer, basically, Lord, what I can't do, please, you do it. And I think it was maybe like the second to last session, I just broke down, and I feel like I did, like I forgave. And I think also one of the things that helped me was I was on YouTube one night. My baby had already gone to sleep, and I came across a podcast by Lila Rose, and I think her name's also Lysa Bevere. Yes, Lysa Bevere. And she was talking about how, so this story really impacted me. So she said her mom would beat her growing up, and she decided that she was never going to do that to her kids. And she had her first one and everything was perfect. And then she had her second one. And then, now you have a toddler wanting attention and you have a baby crying. And she just like reached this point to where she felt mom rage, where she picked up the toddler and like she wanted to slam him against the wall. And then in that very moment, she remembered her mom and how she hadn't forgotten her. She hadn't fully forgave her. She said, I thought I had, but there was one specific instance that I hadn't let go of yet. And she just like broke down crying, and she didn't do it. And later she was telling the story, and she said the son heard because it was an interview, and that he was like, Mom, like I would never expect you to. I would have never thought that of you. You're such a loving person, such a loving mom. And to me, like, it just impacted me so much because it was like, dang, like, what you don't forgive, you become. And we see that a lot in, okay, let's say someone grew up, maybe they had, like, an abusive father or something. And so they grew up mad at man, and then they grow up, and then they're, in some way, shape, or form abusive to men, whether it be psychologically, emotionally, even physical. You hear of women hitting men as well. So yeah, like what, or like you don't forgive your parents for hitting you, and then you end up hitting your children, or it's so many different things, right? And to me, it was like, I don't think I had realized that if you don't forgive, you're holding on to that bad thing they did. And like the way I visualize it, and I don't know if this might help someone, but the way I visualize it is they gave me something rotten, and I'm holding on to this rotten thing, and now I smell, and I won't let go of it. And so it's affecting me. It's not affecting the other person. So in the moment I forgive, I throw that rotten thing away, and I no longer have it. I no longer stink. I no longer, contaminate anything that I touch. And so to me, that was so mind-blowing. So if you had already learned this about forgiveness, then that's great. But if you had never thought of it this way, I really hope it encourages you to look at forgiveness in a different light, in a different way. And there's a reason God tells us to forgive. And I think another thing that helped me a lot was the story of, I guess it's a parable where Jesus talks about, and I'm paraphrasing here and trying to remember the story while I say this, but something along the lines of, there was a man who owed a king a lot of money, so much that he would have never been able to pay it off, even if he worked his whole life for it, to pay it off. And so the king decided to forgive him instead of throwing him in jail. Well, the man goes out, he's recently forgiven, and he comes across someone who owes him money. It's not even a lot, and he decides he's not going to forgive him. I don't remember if he beats him or what happens, but word gets back to the king that this man who has just been forgiven a huge debt wouldn't forgive a small debt. So then the king gets mad and he throws him in prison, I believe, or something along those lines. There's consequences, right? So then it would always made me think like, okay, God forgave me. There's nothing I could have done to earn this forgiveness, and I can't forgive somebody else. Because maybe to me it seems like a huge thing, but in his eyes it's like what they've done to you doesn't compare to what I forgave you. So then I was like, man, like that really hit me too. So it was those two things that I feel like led me to just finally understand, when God tells us to forgive, it's for our own good. And yeah, if he showed mercy on us, who are we to not show mercy on others? And forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation. You don't have to go look for the person and call them up and tell them, oh, I forgive you, or, whatever. Like, no, you don't have to do all of that. It's just letting it go and not letting it consume you. And yeah, I think a lot of people also confuse forgiveness with reconciliation, because sometimes God removes certain people from our lives. It's like sometimes we don't have the discernment, so we, maybe we shouldn't be around that person, maybe we shouldn't be hanging out with that person, maybe we don't need that person in our life, or they already serve the purpose that God had for us. Sometimes we just don't have good discernment, and so if we ask God for discernment, he's like, okay, well, let me help you out, let me remove this person from your life. So you don't want to go chasing after someone God removed from your life. So I think that's also another thing that another reason why people are so hesitant to forgive, because they think, oh, that means I have to be in relationship with them again. Whether it be like a family member, a friend, a coworker, whatever. I think coworkers are a little bit different because you don't have an option, but you don't have to like be buddy with a person. You just have to let go and not hold on to like just hate in your heart, because it's just consuming you. And that's how I think now. Like I hear this person's name, or someone talking about them, and I'm like, okay, like, yeah, like it doesn't bother me. I'm not sitting there speaking negatively about them. I'm not wishing them bad. I'm not instigating. I'm not doing any of those things. I'm just like, I'm good. I'm glad, like that things went good when you met with this person or whatever. And yeah, so just wanted to be completely transparent. It's not easy, obviously. It's like I said, I felt like I couldn't do it without him, and I couldn't have done it without him. And yeah, so if you're in that situation, I encourage you to pray that and ask God to meet you where you are and be like, hey, I gave it my all. I'm envisioning someone walking, and they're like trying to reach the destination, but they're like, I'm tired, and you're sitting down and you're like, I can't keep going, and God comes in and picks you up and he carries you all the way. That's what I'm envisioning right now as I'm saying this. So yeah, don't feel like you have to depend or rely on your own strength. Just rely on God, depend on him, call on to him, and just be honest. That's another thing that maybe a lot of people feel bad saying. I don't want to, or I don't feel like it, or, whatever, to God. And it's like, well, he already knows. He already knows how you feel before you even tell him. So just tell him, just be honest and be like, look, I don't want to. I don't feel like it, but I know this is the right thing to do, so help me. And I know he'll answer your prayer. All right. Well, I hope this was helpful. I hope that it blessed you in some way, shape, or form. And let's keep building from the inside out. I'll see you guys next time.